They could never win the big one. Welcome to 105 Studios, and today I'll be counting down the top 10 Buffalo Bills of all time. Before we begin, some honorable mentions go out to Eric Moulds, Darryl Talley, James Lofton, and Billy Shaw, who just missed the cut. Number 10, Cookie Gilchrist. After spending several years in Canada, Gilchrist signed with the Bills in free agency, becoming the AFL's first 1,000-yard rusher in his first season. He also set an AFL record with 13 touchdowns that same year, being named MVP. In 1963, Gilchrist rushed for an incredible 243 yards and 5 touchdowns in a single game against the New York Jets. In his third and final season in Buffalo, he was named to his third AFL All-Star team and helped the Bills win the 1964 AFL Championship, rushing for 122 yards in the Bills' 13-2 victory over the San Diego Chargers. Number 9, Cornelius Bennett. Coming to Buffalo in the trade of the decade, which also included running backs Eric Dickerson and Greg Bell, Bennett played outside linebacker for the Bills in each of their 4 Super Bowl appearances, while also making 5 Pro Bowls and 3 All-Pro teams, and twice being named AFC Defensive Player of the Year in 1988 and 1981. Bennett is second all-time in the team in forced fumbles with 22, and third in tackles with just over 750 in his 128 career starts as a Bill. Number 8, Jack Kemp. All Kemp seemed to do in Buffalo was win, leading the Bills to 4 straight AFL playoff appearances, winning 2 championships in 1964 and 65. Kemp was named League MVP in the latter. He led the AFL all-time in career passing yards and completions, while being the only quarterback to start in each of the league's 10 seasons. Following his football career, Kemp became a member of Congress, serving for 18 years, which was followed by a cabinet position in the first Bush administration. In 1996, he was the vice presidential candidate for the Republican Party in Bob Dole's loss to the incumbent Bill Clinton. Number 7, Steve Tasker. As far as special teamers go, few can match the ability and accomplishments of Tasker, averaging 20 career yards on kick returns and 10.5 on punts, but he was even better at defending kicks, with 204 career special teams tackles and 7 punts blocked. In the 1993 Pro Bowl, he made 4 tackles, 1 forced fumble, and blocked a field goal, becoming the only special teams player to win Pro Bowl MVP. He was elected to 7 Pro Bowls and 5 All-Pro teams, and many believe he has a legitimate case to one day be in the Hall of Fame. Number 6, Joe DeLamalore. The leader of the Electric Company, DeLamalore led the way for the NFL's first 2,000-yard rusher in 1973. In 1975, he and the company helped the Bills' offense lead the league in 11 categories, including yards, points, and touchdowns. They also led the AFC in fewest sacks allowed. He was named to 6 Pro Bowls and 6 All-Pro teams and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2003. Number 5, Thurman Thomas. One of the key pieces to the Bills' success in the late 80s and early 90s, Thomas successfully rushed for over 1,000 yards in 8 of his 12 seasons in Buffalo. In the team's 4 Super Bowl appearances, Thomas successfully rushed for at least 1 touchdown in every game. His best Super Bowl performance was in 25, where he gained 190 yards from scrimmage and would likely have won MVP of the game if not for a missed field goal by Scott Norwood in the closing moments. In 1991, Thomas was named NFL MVP after rushing for 1,400 yards and 7 touchdowns and leading the league with 4.9 yards per carry. He leads the Bills all-time in every major rushing category, including yards and touchdowns, and his 12,074 career rushing yards are good enough for 15th all-time. In 2007, Thomas was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 4, Andre Reed. Another focal point of the Bills' 4 Super Bowl run, Reed was the top receiving target for 15 years, gaining over 1,000 yards 4 times in that span. Reed was also named to 7 straight Pro Bowls from 1988 to 1994. Like Thomas, Reed had arguably his best season in 1991 with 81 receptions, 1,100 yards, and a career-high 10 touchdowns. In 1993, Reed played a key role in perhaps the greatest comeback in NFL history, helping the Bills rally back from a 32-point deficit against the Houston Oilers, gaining 136 yards and scoring 3 touchdowns. He has the second most Super Bowl receptions with 27 and third most yards with 323. Reed is currently 17th all-time in total career yards with 13,198 and 16th in career receptions with 951. He was named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2014. Number 3, OJ Simpson. After all the TV shows, documentaries, and overall controversy, you may have forgotten that Simpson is one of the greatest running backs of all time. After being drafted first overall out of USC in 1969, Simpson reached 2 Pro Bowls in his first 4 seasons. But in 1973, Simpson became the first player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season. Even more impressive is the fact that he did this in just 14 games. He also scored a league-leading 12 touchdowns that season, being named NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. The Juice is the only player to rush for over 200 yards in 6 games in his career. He also won 4 rushing titles. Simpson became a first-ballot Hall of Famer in 1985. Following his football career, Simpson became a cultural icon, appearing in films such as the Naked Gun franchise and the miniseries Roots. He even hosted an episode of Saturday Night Live in 1978. Simpson is now most famous for the alleged murder of ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman. Dubbed the trial of the century, Simpson was found guilty due to reasonable doubt. In 2008, Simpson was convicted on charges of armed robbery and kidnapping and was sentenced to 33 years of imprisonment. A life of the highest highs and the lowest lows, Simpson is truly an American tragedy. Number 2. Jim Kelly. After refusing to play in Buffalo and 2 successful seasons in the defunct USFL, Kelly would make his return to the city at age 26. Now under center, Kelly excelled at head coach Marv Levy's no-huddle offense, reaching 5 Pro Bowls in his career. Just as his teammates, his best performance came in 1991, where he threw for a career high in yards and touchdowns while getting his lone All-Pro nod. Kelly also led the Bills on their now famous run of 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances. But unfortunately, he faltered on the big stage, scoring only 2 touchdowns and throwing 7 interceptions while failing to take home a single Lombardi trophy. Kelly became the first Bill to have his number officially retired and holds all the team's passing records, but his inability to shine when it mattered most is the reason that he's number 2 on this list. Number 1. Bruce Smith. A fierce pass rusher in every sense, Smith had double-digit sacks 12 times while in Buffalo. After a lackluster performance in his first season, teammate Darryl Talley took Smith under his wing and helped him shake his bad habits. This proved to be extremely helpful, as in his sophomore season, Smith had an impressive 15 sacks. He was a 9-time All-Pro and an 11-time Pro Bowler, taking home MVP in 1988. Smith was named Defensive Player of the Year twice in 1990 and 1996, the former following a 19-sack campaign. In 2016, he became just the second player to have his number officially retired by the Bills. Smith is of course most famous for holding the NFL record for the most career sacks with 200, 171 of which came in Buffalo. An all-time great pass rusher and a defensive staple for 15 seasons, Bruce Smith is the greatest Buffalo Bill of all time.